Even a player at his level might not react in time. Watch me loop him around the full table. Did I use a lot of power? I'm not taking a huge, muscled swing. The ball just shoots forward after it lands. It has that zing sound. Alright everyone, a question for you. When you see pros handle topspin, are they looping or flat hitting the ball? When I was starting out, my training was purely focused on the forehand drive. The main goal was consistency, how many you could hit in a row. My coach's regimen was strict, 10 sets, starting with 100 consecutive forehand drives, then the same for the backhand. That was our training method. Later, the transition from driving to looping wasn't optional, it was a mandatory change in technique. My muscle memory for hitting was already ingrained. So, here's a crucial piece of advice: don't spend years practicing only the forehand drive. The longer you only practice driving, the more your muscle memory defaults to a flat impact. This makes it incredibly difficult to develop the brushing sensation required for a proper loop. Your default motion will be to hit through the ball. This habit of making direct impact prevents you from finding that critical feeling of friction needed for spin. Personally, it took me nearly 2 years to correct this and make the full transition from a drive to a loop. The result? I ended up with a hybrid stroke that was neither a proper loop nor a clean hit. This happened because I had driven for too long. While I could still hit a simple block back, I was no longer able to effectively drive a quality, heavy ball. So, my conclusion is this: the flat hit has its place, but it cannot be your primary attacking technique. The drive is deceptive. When you're stationary, it feels stable. But the moment you introduce footwork, the stroke breaks down and errors appear. Therefore, for your forehand against topspin, you must learn to loop. Okay, I'm going to show you 2 strokes now. Tell me which one is correct. Here's the first one. And the second one. The second one is the correct technique. Now, can anyone tell me why? You might argue, against topspin, why can't I just take my racket straight back? Why is it necessary to drop the racket in your backswing? The common answer is, to create an arc, but a topspin ball already has a natural trajectory. You can often clear the net with simple contact. I see this when coaching kids. With a horizontal backswing, their rally breaks down after about 5 shots. But when they learn to drop the racket, their consistency immediately doubles. Think about your own matches. Why do you loop confidently in the first game, but by the third, your arm gets tight and your technique fails? It's because your muscles have a limit. When you tense up and force the shot, you lose control. That's when your shots start to float, your arm feels rigid, and your follow-through slows down. Try this with me, without a racket. Swing your arm back horizontally. You'll feel that the larger the swing, the more your shoulder tightens up. Now, let your arm drop down naturally and swing from there. Immediately, you can feel the potential for relaxation and explosive acceleration. With a horizontal backswing, you're forced to stay tense. If you relax, the incoming ball will rush you and you'll be jammed. This is why a loop is fundamentally different from a drive. A drive is a compact, forward stroke that relies heavily on redirecting your opponent's pace. A loop, however, is about actively generating your own power. To do that, relaxation followed by acceleration is non-negotiable. It's the only way to create speed variation and produce a high-quality ball. You must learn to sink your shoulder and elbow. Only from this lowered position can you feel your arm relax and then explode forward. See the spin on that ball? It's heavy, but I'm not muscling it. Watch again. Relax, then accelerate. This is the sequence that produces that quality. My power isn't about brute force, it's simply about adding more speed at the end of a relaxed swing. So, when you practice your loop, you must first find the feeling of sinking your elbow, shoulder, and hips. Your arm's path must be down, not straight back. Only then can you relax. The backswing goes down, but the contact point is brought up to meet the ball. Always moving forward. Essentially, your swing path is still forward. You're just using a downward body and arm arc to prepare for a relaxed and powerful shot. In everyday life, our arms hang down to relax. If you walk around with your arms held up, you'll get tired quickly. Your pre-shot preparation should mimic your most relaxed state. The moment of impact, however, should be your most uncomfortable, athletic position, low center of gravity, tense core, compact body. So before the shot, I simulate my most comfortable state. What is it? Letting the arm hang down. This is maximum relaxation. So, relax your body, then be explosive at contact. Looping against backspin and topspin are not the same concept. The key is that for a topspin rally, your backswing should drop downwards for relaxation, before brushing the ball with an upward and forward swing. Looping against backspin requires an even lower backswing and a larger motion from your body. That's the first key point, you must sink down. The second point, you must pay attention to your looping rhythm. How should you do it? Am I hitting this ball at the top of the bounce or on its way down? Many of you rush your shots in a match. You're trying to hit the ball at this early timing point. But in a match, this leads to immediate errors because you can't wait for the ball. When I was young, I used to hit the ball on the rise, before the peak of the bounce, because it's easier to borrow the ball's pace. It's a very comfortable contact point. But then in a match, you'll find your timing is consistently off. Watch the pros. Their timing is slightly after the peak of the bounce. If you master this timing, your rallies and loops against backspin will not be rushed. This contact point isn't late in the ball's descent, it's just a fraction of a second after the peak, just as the ball begins to drop. But here's another question, if I practice this timing, does that mean I must use it in a match? No. In a match, you adapt to the situation. If the ball is slow, you can wait for it. By practicing this base timing, you gain the ability to adjust and play faster when you need to. You'll be able to speed up or slow down your rhythm at will. This timing is about letting the ball come a little deeper into your strike zone after the peak, allowing you to synchronize your body's power with the ball. This concept of rhythm is the most important thing for amateur players to understand. First, during rallies, keep your center of gravity low, legs bent, and your shoulder, elbow, and hips sunk down. You need to be relaxed to execute the shot. Second, you must focus on your rhythm. Slow it down. Even when you're close to the table, don't rush. You can still maintain a calm, controlled rhythm. This rhythm is excellent. See how stable that is? Try to find a training partner who can block this consistently for you. If not, use a robot. A player showed me a video of his robot training. He was trying to hit as many balls as possible in a short time. I thought the robot was going to overheat. If you can't complete your stroke, the practice is counterproductive. It's a waste of time. Remember, in a match, your forehand shots are almost never hit from a static position, you are always moving from the backhand side. You should hit one ball, recover to your ready position, then have the robot feed the next. Set it to the slowest or second slowest speed. That's how you should train. The same applies to topspin rallies. Training too fast will make your stroke unstable. Why do some players get worse after using a robot? This is the reason. With a robot, you must practice this rhythm. Slow your hand down. Feel each shot, one by one. Don't use power. Just focus on brushing the ball and making a clean contact. Incorrect practice is worse than no practice at all. The faster the feed, the more you'll develop a habit of rushing. Then, when a real opponent's ball isn't as fast, your muscle memory will still fire too quickly. The second point is partner training. Many players complain their partner doesn't drill seriously. That's likely because you aren't providing a good quality ball for them first. You have to set a good example. If you give them inconsistent blocks when they're looping, they'll do the same for you. They'll think, you didn't help me train properly, so why should I help you? So, when you practice, you must be the one to set the standard. It's like learning to feed multi-ball. Once you can do it, you can help everyone. Don't wait for others to help you first. When your partner is looping and you are blocking, your racket should act like a simple backboard. When you feed them, your block should consistently land around the half-long mark. This gives them the most comfortable distance to loop from. If you block too deep, you'll jam them, and they can't practice their rhythm. You must provide a half-long ball for them to be comfortable. When blocking in a drill, don't add extra movements or try to win the point. This isn't a match. You are training your touch and feel. Don't think you aren't getting anything out of it. If you provide quality blocks, he will have a good practice session and feel obligated to do the same for you. Now you're both improving. The reason amateurs improve so slowly is the lack of a good training environment. Too often, two people just start playing points. If you just play points, you'll hit a couple of shots, then stop. At the end of the day, you haven't drilled anything specific and have made zero progress. Regardless of others, be the one who sets the standard for quality practice. If you do, everyone will want to train with you. Even if my skill level is very low, when you are looping, I will at least focus on giving you a consistent, soft block. This will make it very comfortable for him to practice his loop. When I was young, the top players on the provincial team often asked me to be their training partner, because I gave them a comfortable ball. And I knew that training with them was the fastest way for me to improve. They chose me because I could consistently give them the exact type of ball they wanted to practice against. This benefited me as well. By training with higher-level players, I improved. If you want good training partners, you must first develop useful skills, like blocking accurately or learning to feed multi-ball. Don't be a frustrating partner who always goes for a winner. Being a good practice partner is the best way to improve your own touch. Let me ask you, for amateur players, how important is blocking? At levels below 1800, you can win matches just by blocking consistently. Your opponent will eventually miss. Table tennis is a game of who makes fewer mistakes. Beginners make the most mistakes. Just wait for them to make one. Third requirement for the loop, you must have a gripping or biting sensation on the ball. If you have this, your shot will have explosive power. Watch, even from close to the table, I don't need a big swing. This is the first example. Now, I'll grip the ball. Watch the second bounce. Anyone can block your slow, powerless loop. But if you grip the ball faster and add a bit of angle, the ball's speed increases dramatically. He truly can't react in time. Block this one. See? Combine that with good placement. If your loop is slow and uniform, you'll think, he can counterloop this easily. Because you lack explosive power, you'll start swinging harder, and that's when you make unforced errors. The real problem isn't a lack of power, it's that your swing speed is constant. Think of it like this, your backswing is 30 miles per hour, but at the moment of contact, you must accelerate to 80 miles per hour. Am I using my full power? Even a player at his level might not react in time. Watch me loop him around the full table. Did I use a lot of power? I'm not taking a huge, muscled swing. The ball just shoots forward after it lands. It has that zing sound. Your current loop is a slow, drawn-out motion. You're using a lot of effort, but the ball is slow. Anyone can hit that back. You need this sharp snap on the ball. See? He genuinely couldn't react. Did I use power? No. It's just that the acceleration is extremely fast. I'm telling you, this technique I'm teaching is perfect for players over 50. You can't rely on big, powerful swings. That leads to shoulder problems, tennis elbow, and other injuries. So, when you practice, first find the feeling of relaxation. Then, find the feeling of swinging forward to meet the ball. At contact, snap. Add that small burst of acceleration. That's all you need. Look, relax, then snap to grip the ball. Relax, then grip. Even from close to the table, relax, then grip. Don't underestimate this. This burst of acceleration at contact, which combines brushing, forward momentum, a quick forearm snap, and hip rotation, creates a change in speed. Your shot will be hard to block even without massive power. Watch, grip it. See that second bounce? I think the second bounce is faster than the first. The ball doesn't have much weight during its flight, but it's very deceptive. Your opponent sees the first bounce and thinks they have time, but then it suddenly accelerates off the table. This is hidden power. Let me ask you all, What's more important, perfect technique or good ball feel? Of course, it's ball feel. This explains why no two world champions have the same technique. Take a player like Morgard. If he came to me, I'd be tempted to change his strokes. Our goal isn't to create a perfect, cookie-cutter technique. Ball feel is the most important thing. Your problem right now is that you're desperately trying to fix your form. When your slow loop doesn't win the point, you start swinging for the fences and your form breaks down. What you're really missing is that snap at contact. It's about that instant of ball feel, that change of pace. Relax, then accelerate. This phrase is the essence of table tennis. Add breaking at the end of the stroke. Those are the three key elements. You must learn to add acceleration at the moment of contact. That will make you a formidable player. Look, I'm using no real power here. Relax, snap. The quality of this ball is more than enough, and I'm using almost no body strength. So, to summarize the 3 points, first, learn to feel relaxation. Second, master your rhythm and gain control over the ball's timing. Third is the issue of ball feel. It's not about being tense or relaxed the whole time. It's about being relaxed, and then accelerating at the moment of contact. Only when you introduce this change of pace into your shots will you generate true explosive power and surprise your opponent.